Hey guys, it's Tom. It's Sunday. It's 6. It's fun day. I've been waiting like 4 days for this live stream. So while we get started, hopefully notifications are going out. I would like to double check and make sure that the audio is good because sometimes the audio doesn't sync up. And I have one of my goals this year was to improve live streams, and so I have several different things set up here to kind of like make this one, since it's more interesting, make it a little more interesting. And I want to make sure that that's actually happening. So let me bring up this stream. Look, there it is. Since it's more interesting, make it a little more interesting. Cool. Audio's half video and all that stuff, so that's kind of important. So today I have something I've been waiting a really long time, really since August to do, and then literally since Thursday, which like isn't a long time, but I don't have a lot of patience for like waiting for things. So keeping this in a box for 4 days has been kind of a challenge. So I want to get to that real quick. Oh, look at that. Capture the moment. Yeah, Damien, I do have a clean garage. It's not fake. It's not a green screen thing. They're like real things, which I'm going to need because I like organization. But also like this is super easy to make. Anyway, what I'd like to go through today are a few things. Before I get to this, I have several just kind of like business things to take care of. First of which is, as of yesterday, well actually, when I did my very first live stream, which was only like 2 months ago on this channel, my first live stream, it was like did this super sweet graffiti here for number 50 because I was really excited to hit 50 subscribers. And just yesterday I hit 150 and today it's 152, which is super cool. So I really want to say thanks to everybody who's been super kind and supportive and helpful and providing lots of feedback and like genuine support. Even if you're not a subscriber, if you just watch and enjoy, I really, really, really do appreciate that. And like 50 was really hard to get to, 100 was really hard. So to get that custom URL. And 150 like felt almost impossible. And I know that in the day and age where people have, millions or like tens of millions of subscribers, it's like, who cares if you have 150? But seriously, if you're someone who's tried to get 150 or somebody who's tried to like have a YouTube channel, you probably know that it's actually really hard. So I really appreciate it. And the reason that I'm bringing it up too is I don't want to talk too much about the changes that YouTube made to their monetization and like partner policy, because honestly I have absolutely no interest in monetizing this channel ever, or putting ads on things, because I hate ads and I work really hard on my stuff and I don't want ads to be on it. But YouTube used to only have 10,000 views as a qualification to be monetized, and now they have 1,000 subscribers plus 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 12 months. That honestly, again, not interested in monetizing, so it doesn't really matter. But the fact that they now put subscribers as a qualification means that I feel like they might be taking that into consideration more than they did in the past. And so that's why I just want to take the time to thank those of you who are subscribing, because it really does help. When you make a bunch of work and then nobody watches it, that, it kind of sucks. And so I really appreciate you guys, your support and all those things. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you haven't hit the bell, please hit the bell, especially if you like live streams, because then you'll get a little notification, hopefully, that will tell you the live stream happening so you can jump into the chat. And let me see here real quick. Derek Snyder. Hello, Derek. Oh, and Heather. Whoa, look at this legit live stream. I know, Heather, don't you wish you could be somewhere near a live stream like this? She's on the other side of the wall. And yeah, there we go. Hit that thumbs up, share, smash buttons, like things, interact. Basically, that's the whole point of a live stream. And this one is going to be pretty interesting. So the reason that I wanted to do this live stream today was this right here. Sorry if that's getting mic noise. Let me move this. Apologize. Is this right here? So this is a 3D printer from Monoprice that I wanted to unbox and set up and do a test print with you in front of you so you see how it works. This is one of Monoprice's newer printers. They actually came out with it last year. This isn't like a sponsored video or anything. I paid full price for this. I'm just really excited because they announced this last January at CES, but it wasn't even available until like August or September of this year. and then it was really hard to get, and finally, like randomly last week, I was browsing their website and it was available, and I was like, oh, cool. And there's a couple of reasons that I'm interested in this specific 3D printer, and if you watch my channel, you know I do a lot of 3D printing videos, and if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of a cool thing to check out. So that's what we're going to get to right there. And yeah, so here we go. So this is the Monoprice MP Delta Mini, which is a different style of printer. Actually, I'll grab one of my other ones. So this was my very first 3D printer. This is the Monoprice Select Mini. It's a great, like, if you're thinking about getting into 3D printing, I did a whole video about this 3D printer. If you're thinking about getting into 3D printing, I highly recommend this printer because it's about $200. There's a new version of it, and they still sell this version 1 too. It's a really good printer. It's super reliable. It's super easy to set up. It's super easy to fix when you need to. It's easy to modify, and it's easy to upgrade. So it's kind of everything you want, even though the biggest downside is that it's small, but it's called the Mini. So like, who's gonna get whatever? People complain that it's small, but it literally has Mini in the name. This is a great 3D printer, and this is essentially how all of my 3D printers, this is my 5th one. This is the same basic style, even though they have different shapes and different brands. And like, I have 2 of these, a Monoprice, a bigger Monoprice one, and then a Prusa MK2. But they all kind of work the same, which is that the extruder goes back and forth on the X-axis, and then also up and down on the Y-axis. Oh no, I just put a clip off. We'll put this over here for now. Ignore the sound of things falling down. So that's normally how those work. Kind of the extruder moves this way and up and down, and then the print moves under it. And between those, you have all 3 axes. This one is different. This is a Delta style printer. So what that means is the extruder is actually on 3 arms. The print stays steady, and the extruder moves over all 3 axes. So what that does, it's just a totally different way of printing. I've never printed like that before. But the benefit that I know right off the bat is when your print is moving, especially if it's a taller thing, then it starts to become unstable, or it can bend and warp, and bad things can happen. So this is nice because the print never moves, just the print head moves around it. And supposedly, there are a lot of online communities. I've gotten a lot of like feedback from people on this. Supposedly, it's a just out of the box plug-in and print situation. That's why I wanted to do a live stream. I wanted to see how true that is, because I've heard some stories that that's not exactly the case. So let's go ahead and see. I ordered this directly from Monoprice. It was $150. I think they have them on Amazon too. So if this is a huge failure, stay away from it. If this is great, then maybe you want to go buy one and pick one up. Before I get started, let's check this out. Open the box already. Yeah, it's 150 subs in here. Let me grab a blade off my organized garage. All right. Oh, you know what? This is a good time to introduce you guys to something else that I just set up over here, which is a smaller second camera so that I can show you guys things. So here, I'll leave that there for now, actually. We'll come back to this later. But that's just kind of a cool thing, and I probably don't need to put my name on here anymore. Sorry, I'm like a total one-man show right now. Here we go, opening the box, drum roll. I don't have any sound effects in this. The cool thing, I've ordered stuff from Monoprice for many years because I started ordering cables from them. They sell a lot of not cheap, but inexpensive cables. And then they started selling 3D printers. They're based out of Rancho Cucamonga, which is a couple hours from here, and so stuff usually comes overnight, which I really like, even if you don't pay extra. What's Proxlime saying? This feels like a weird... Oh, I'm just going to ignore that and come over here. Okay, wait. I'm going to enjoy this for a second. And actually, why don't I... Sorry, I got Proxlime's comment on the brain, and I didn't... Yeah. So anyway, here's what it looks like inside the box. As you can see, it had this packed on top of it. There seems to be a little bit of a delay there. Anyway, we'll pull this out of here. Oh, let me switch back to the other one. Okay. Okay. So, first thing right off the bat, this is all metal, which I really like. It's not heavy, and clearly they're emphasizing portability because there's literally a built-in handle on the top. So I don't know, you're like, I gotta go to work, grab my 3D printer and go. Mike Alvarez, it looks like a box amp or a small PA speaker. Yes, it's a 3D printer. It's a Monoprice MP Mini Delta. All the information is in the description below, including a link if you want to learn more. This is super cool, though. I like this quite a bit. Let's do a few things here. Let's pick up. Let's move things around. Sorry, guys. We'll just row. I'm using OBS to do live streams, and like, I'm still getting used to it. So anyway, there we go. That's kind of what we're looking at here. That's the extruder, and these are the 3 arms that move it around the build plate. So I'll cut those open. Cool. Nice, okay. So just a quick tour around here. I think I need to adjust this camera real quick. Maybe not. So anyway, yeah, that's that. It's got like safety wrap all over it, which I love unpeeling personally. Nothing on the bottom. Cool. And you've always got a couple of options when it comes to 3D printers of how to print. You can hook them up directly to your computer, print through software. You can put a memory card in them, or you can even hook up like a Raspberry Pi and do like crazy printing using that. I am just going to, for the first print off the SD card, which there should have been one included in the box somewhere. So there's a filament mount, which actually looks kind of small. Let me see. If I have a regular spool, oh, it'll fit. So this will hold a regular 1 kg roll of filament, which is nice. It might look a little ridiculous. Tiny printer with a giant filament roll on the back. There we go. Okay, so in this box here, let me play around with this webcam just a little bit to get rid of some of that delay that I noticed was happening. We'll see if that does it. Still trying to figure all this stuff out. So anyway, here we go. In this box right here, almost seems like the delay is worse. It's okay. In this box, you've got all of these main accessories, including one of these scrapers to get stuff off of your build plate, which is actually pretty handy, but I prefer to use like a putty knife. And then of course the power adapter. Something really important with power adapters and 3D printers is you never want to leave them just plugged in when you're not using them. You never want to leave them unattended, especially any 3D printer, but especially a more inexpensive one, because sometimes these aren't the highest quality and they do weird, sometimes dangerous things. That's not super common. I don't want to like scare anyone off. It's just something to be aware of, but it's probably good advice for any electronics that you have to be careful with them. So anyway, there's all of that stuff happening there. So that's kind of it, really. There's a USB cord to plug it into the computer. I'm not going to use that right now because I'm just going to print straight from this card, which should have some models on it. So I like to print straight from the card that came with the printer first. So that way I can see what the printer's capable of using a factory setting. And then I like to try to do my own prints to see how close I can get. So if I know this is capable of great prints, and then I slice my own model and it turns out that it kind of sucks, it's probably my fault and not the printer's fault. This is a good way to verify that. Also came with a couple little Allen wrenches for adjustments and repairs, which is cool. A thing about 3D printing, even though this is marketed as a printer that's ready to go right out of the box, and maybe it is, you're always gonna have to tinker with a 3D printer a little bit, but that's kind of part of the process. So if you look at that as a negative, like, oh man, I have to do more stuff to my printer, that's probably not something you want to get into. But if you're willing to put in that time, it's a really fun hobby. That being said, obviously you don't want them to break during a print. That would be terrible. So let's get this foam. I honestly, if you can see this, let me see here if I can get you a better view. If you can see this, I really have no idea how to get this foam out of here without like hurting the thing. Let's see. I'm going to check in on chat real quick. Whoa. Not what I was expecting to look like. That's what she said. Literally, that's what Heather said. Can you print a printer? Can you print an... I can print anything, I guess. Print food. Actually, Brock Slime, Amazon sells a 3D waffle printer, which is stupid. Do most printers come calibrated, Mike is asking. Supposedly, yes, but like I was saying, you kind of got to do some tinkering. Also, Mike, it's really nice to see you. Or, it's really nice for you to see me. I don't know. Can you print meaning? I could print the word meaning, Brock Slime, if that's what you're meaning. Anyway, sorry. Whoa. So, okay. I don't know how to get this foam out, and I don't know how okay it is to just like move these around. So maybe I will cut it, which I'm sure is not what you're supposed to do. But, you know, do what you can, right? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. You know those videos that suddenly go viral because someone chopped their finger off or whatever? This isn't going to be one of those. I'd way rather have a low view count. Here's what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to lift this up so it moves all three things up at the same time and then remove it. Ta-da. There we go. So here's the build plate. This is a heated build surface, which means this actually gets warm too, and that helps print stick to it. This is a very small build plate. I think it's 100 millimeters by 120 or something like that. So it's not for printing giant things. You could print multiple parts and then stick them together to make a giant print. But for the most part, this is for tinier prints. But again, hard to be upset about that because it literally has mini in the name. Coming back up here, you've got the extruder, which then has a tube that runs all the way down to the nozzle. And then on this side of the printer, you've got the LCD screen, which I'm curious about how it works. Let me see if I can get you a better view of it. And then some buttons. And on the back side over here, you've got power and USB, what looks like a light, and then also the SD card slot. So that's kind of it. It's quite adorable, actually. I really like it. And I really like the physical part of it. And it's made out of metal, which is kind of cool. Andy, can you print a mini Tom? I don't know. But it's really cool that Andy's here, who's also like gets paid to do live streams and stuff. So anyway, here we go. I'm gonna throw these over here right now and get rid of this stuff over here. So it's got this like film to take off, which like is always really, really satisfying usually. I just said always usually. Oh, this is not satisfying at all because it doesn't want to come off easily. I could do an ASMR video and like but I'm not going to do that because I'm not a weirdo. I'm just kidding. Oh man, this stuff is like real. I hope you're supposed to peel this off, actually. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but I did not open an instruction manual of any kind here. And I didn't read one beforehand, which is probably a stupid thing to do. But this is the internet. It's what stupid things to... It's the internet for stupid things. Just kidding. Kinda. You know what? That's fine for now. I'll peel that off as it's printing. My goal is to get a test print running, so then we can kind of talk and chat and see how this sucker works. So I don't want to waste too much time talking before a print is started. So I just peeled this down enough to get the spool holder on it, which slides right in there. Boom. And that seems to be about it. It's also got this. Here's the thing with 3D printers. There's a little bit of superstition involved. The screens come with the protective plastic on them. You're not supposed to peel that plastic off if your printer's out of the box working well, or until you know it's working well. That means like I don't have to return it. Everything is good. So for superstition's sake, I'm going to leave that on until we get a successful print. So maybe that'll be the grand finale of this stream, is peeling the plastic off of the screen. Wow, that sounds boring. What are you guys talking about right now? Andy, my tool collection is nicely organized. That's what she said. Proxlime says, print YouTube CEO. I don't know anything about YouTube CEO, but honestly, I think I probably echo Heather's sentiments on this, which like YouTube is not perfect. YouTube has a lot of issues. They also provide a pretty darn incredible platform for free. So I'm not really going to complain. And I don't have anything to complain about either. Like, YouTube is kind of awesome and fun. Anyway, here we go. What the hell? Oh. Right. We'll set that there to make sure it doesn't burst into flames. There we go. So I plugged it in. Pop out this little micro SD card here. Whoa. Pop the micro SD card in here, which is always a challenge. There we go. Cool. Now, oh, what the hell? Whoa, uh-oh. I just pushed the button back here and it started glowing green. I don't know. Also, the screen just turned on as soon as I turned it on here. So, let me kind of give you a quick view of exactly what I'm seeing here. Ooh, this is going to look pretty sweet. There you go. So that's basically what I'm seeing. Why is it's heating up? Cancel. I don't know what it's doing. Also, it's not touchscreen. Why didn't I read the thingy? Oh, look, it moved. How do I move stuff? This? Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay, if I do that, it selects. Oh, Ay! Cancel, bro. That's cool looking, though, right? It's like a spider. I have no idea what. It doesn't even have any filament in it, which I guess is fine then, right? What the hell is that? Sorry, it's confused me and scared me, as do most things in life. Okay. Here's the thing. Actually, wait. I said that I didn't read an instruction manual. But there literally isn't one. So, yeah, there is no instruction manual. I was going to see what this green light... The green light is also a button on the back. That seems to be the start-stop button. Yeah, okay. But how do you select a print? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now it's telling me to wait pause. It's printing a meme. Wait, what was Andy's suggestion? Oh, printing a second Tom? No, one is plenty. Okay, so I'm gonna take off the plastic because all hell is broken loose, and I think, is this a touch screen? Never mind. This isn't a touch screen, I just touched the screen. This is the most confusing button system. Okay, so this one moves options sometimes. Oh, it's like a dial. This one moves that way, this one moves that way, and the middle one is select. Uh-oh, but now I got stuck here. This seems to be a little funky. We're gonna cancel that business. There we go, there's a real menu. Cool. Let's go to move. Cool. It's not a normal printer like I'm used to, so you can't move it. Here's what we'll do. to get started, guys. We need to print something. We're gonna print a test file on here, but I need to figure out what color to print it. So I have quite a few options, as you can see. There's a lot of like green, gold, brown. There's different shades of silver and orange. There's blue and silver and blue. There's purple, silver, and translucent blue. And then some more blues, whites, and reds. So I have lots of different filaments. Heather says purple. I heard you had to pee in it for luck. You know what? It's a different kind of printer. They have to do that. Yeah. It's a 3P printer. This is a 3D printer. That's so stupid. Anyway, Heather says purple, so since the other suggestions were P in the printer, I'm going to go with purple filament on this one. Purple is a fruit, Mike. Purple is a fruit. Alright, so let's figure this out. We'll grab purple. Honestly, I wish this were a more like purple, but it is what it is. So this is AIO Robotics filament. I've had very good luck. This is a 1 kg roll on a tiny spool, which is sort of interesting. Yeah, so let me show you how this works. Then let's put this little camera back on here so you can kind of see the process for putting this in. Now this looks, even though I've never used this printer before, this looks very similar to the Mini, my first printer, which had something that looked exactly like this, and then the Bowden tube that runs down here, which guides the filament into the extruder. It was just positioned differently. So what I'll need to do is preheat this business with this crazy thing. Cool. So we're going to preheat it to 205 degrees just because that's what I like for the nozzle. And then we're going to preheat the bed to 55. And we'll see how fast it preheats and how accurately. And the beds also should be getting warm too. The reason I needed to preheat it was because to load the filament, this has to be hot so the filament goes through. Anyway, this just goes right on the back here. Probably this way. So it's got a little roll of filament. And then I'm going to guide that up through the extruder here. And this one, you just press this spring, kind of feed this through. Also, pro tip, which if you're into 3D printing, you should be aware of. I don't know if you can see that there, but you should always clip your filament at an angle so that way it goes through easier. If you just do a blunt, straight edge, it doesn't work that well. There we go. You can just kind of feed that through here. There was no feed option. You know what? I bet you there is. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Go into the move menu. Move the extruder. And this is a weird looking menu. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it's now pulling it through. That's good. Where is it going? Well, it's definitely going through, so now, if we have any luck, what we should see is the print stuff, sorry. Doing too many things at once. We should see the filament start to come through the nozzle. Let me see if I can get you a nice shot of that. Gosh, that sounds so weird out of context. Ugh, I'm sorry, you guys. Teaching teenagers has ruined me because everything is just like a potentially dirty joke. Anyway, let's keep doing this. Wait, which button was I pressing? What do I do? I would like to move the extruder, please. I would like to go to there. Okay, cool. So you guys should be seeing down here through this nozzle, there's my finger for scale. This is 200 degrees, which is over 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Seems like I have to keep clicking the button to make it go. Sorry for that noise if it annoys you. Ooh, oh, hello. There we go. Look at that. We have a filament happening. There we go. So it's actually extruding some filament. I'm going to grab a pair of pliers, take that out. And now we should be ready to actually start a test print, which should be pretty cool. Let me see if I can work on something here real quick. Okay, so we've got our filament loaded in. We've got this here. I want to see what test prints it comes with. So let me see what the menu has to offer. Let me peruse the menu. I think this is back. The middle option. It's very cryptic. And this is the move menu. I'm going to go back. There's the main menu of the printer. If you're just tuning in, this is my very first print. I've never navigated the menu, and it came with no instruction manual, so good times. And there we go, print. So when I click on this, there should be a selection of at least one thing to print. If not, I do have something ready to go as like a backup. But I'd like to do something I didn't slice myself. There we go. Oh, look, they put the manual on the SD card. That's not super helpful. I mean, it's helpful, but like, it should also be printed. Wow. Is there anything to actually print, though? What is auto00.g? Let's print that. I'm guessing .g stands for .g code, which would be a printer file. I do like this color screen, though. The screen looks a lot nicer in person than it does on the webcam. So let's do it. I'm going to select that print. Let's watch what it does. Okay, it's actually sticking. It's supposed to have an auto-leveling bed, which means it measures itself and adjusts itself so that the print is always even. I've heard mixed reviews about that. Let's see how accurate it is. Let me see if I can adjust this focus on this webcam a little bit. Let's see how we can adjust this. There we go. What the heck are you printing? We'll see if we can figure it out. It's kind of looking terrifying coming like towards the camera like that. I'll be checking in with comments in just a second, you guys, once I get this going. I'm not ignoring you, I'm just trying to like not destroy a brand new thing, you know. I'll set this up so you can see it in the corner of the screen. Alright, let's get this camera focused. Alright. So there we go. Now you can see the printer down in the corner, kind of getting started. I'm going to answer some of your questions. We're going to kind of go through some things. If this fails massively some way through the process, we'll all be here to check that out. All right, so let's see what you guys have been saying. This is fun. Let me jump in over here. Alright, so, Heather, a while ago you asked if I could print you a new phone case. Yes, I will absolutely print you a new phone case. I know that's a hugely popular thing to print, and I've never done it, because I've always been kind of scared that the plastic is going to scratch the phone, but they do even make flexible plastics, or filaments, which I kind of like to try, but I also think that, like, most phone cases are plastic anyway, so I probably wouldn't do it. Anyway, point is, yes, I'll print you a super rad custom phone case. Print a purple camera shutter. Why should I do that? Capture the moment. Does that have a special meaning to you by chance? They should 3D print a manual, Andy. They should 3D print a manual. So yeah, there we go. That's kind of where we're at there. Boom. How much was it? This was $150, which is honestly probably about the lowest 3D printer I would actually buy. There might be some that are the same price or cheaper, but they're either kits or they're just really low quality. This one, you guys saw me pull out of the box, plug it in. The menu was confusing, but I didn't have to assemble anything. Literally, it was plug and play, and now it's printing in this print. If you guys can't see, actually looks pretty darn good so far. It's printing really smooth. I think I know what this is gonna be. I think it's gonna be the very famous cat G-code print, and I'll explain these in a moment. So yeah, so there we go. I have no idea how long this is gonna take, but I'd really like to not spit on my printer. I'd really like to run through the whole print, or at least most of it, so we can see the quality together, and then if I do a review, there's no question on like, was that actually printed there? Like, you'll watch me unbox it, plug it in, print, show you that print. We know exactly what this printer comes like out of the box. Heather was asking, what am I printing? I don't know. It's the one file that was on the card that came with the printer. All it said was auto 00. So I don't know what that means. I think it's the cat, and that's why I printed this earlier. And I'll even kind of take a moment right now and explain this to you guys real quick. Let me just grab something here to put these cats on. So, this printer's not too loud. A lot of people complain that it's loud. I don't really find it that much louder than any of the other printers I've worked with. Okay, so I think this is what it's printing. Oh gosh, it's dead. I think this is what it's printing, which is a little cat. And there's a little money cat. This one was printed on my Mini, the printer I showed you at the start of this, the white Monoprice Select Mini, which is my first 3D printer. This is kind of a calibration print, cat abrasion print, because it has a lot of things that are a little bit difficult for printers to handle. It's got a lot of curves, it's got these overhangs here. I don't know if you can see, if this camera will focus. But right under his paw, you can kind of see where it had some trouble. There's a little bit of a mess there because there were no supports. But this is a pretty clean print. You can see the layers, you can see some banding, which ideally you wouldn't see as much, but the writing is really clean. The facial expression is really clean. This came out of a $200 printer. I am absolutely satisfied at the quality of this print for $200. So, the Mini Select, I have two of them. As soon as I bought one, like 2 weeks later, I bought another so that I could have them going side by side. Yeah, so that's that. How much of that school? Oh. Yeah, I don't know what this sounds like to you guys. Oh my god, it might be the worst. Let me see if I need to move the microphone. Let me move my mic, and let me move the printer actually a little bit. It sounds like it's struggling, but it sounds like a 3D printer. That's all normal. Let me move that here. I'll move the mic away from it. Hopefully that kind of helps the sound a little bit there. So that way you guys don't have to hear the sound of the printer. Away from it. Hopefully that kind of helps. Okay, good. I think that really did help. So we'll let this go over here. It's definitely not quiet enough that you would put it in your bedroom at night or anything, but it's as loud as a 3D printer is. They make noise. I don't know. fine with that. Andy was asking how much of the spool is it going to take to print a little cat like this. I don't know exactly how much. Very little is the answer. I actually just emptied my first spool. That sounds gross. Today, and I've been 3D printing for over a year, and I haven't fully run out of a spool yet. So there's a lot of filament in a spool. They're about $20 a piece, so it's a good deal. This, let's see, something like this would probably cost somewhere between 15 and 25 cents to print. So it's not crazy expensive or anything. Wow, Mike, I'm on your TV. People usually watch these things on their phone while they're in the bathroom or something, so I feel so fancy. Unless you have a TV in your bathroom, which would be super fancy. Proxline, can you eat it? Fact of the day, you can eat anything. Should you eat it? No. Not at all, no. So here's a little cat print. What I also did earlier was I have a Prusa i3 Mark II, which is like the orange and black printer. It's a very, very famous printer. I've done some videos on it. It's a great printer. It's a $1,000 printer or $800 printer. This is a $150 printer. I printed this blue cat on the Monoprice printer, but I printed a red version earlier today on the Prusa. This actually finished maybe about 20 minutes before I started this stream. And I really was hoping it came out better because it's a way more expensive printer. But I kind of wanted to show you guys the difference. So on this cat here, you can see the different like bands. You can see it's not bad at all. It's totally great for a $200 printer. But let me just show you the Prusa version right next to him. Oh yeah, I wish I could show you them together more easily. There, perfect. Success. Okay. So here you go. I don't know if you guys can notice, but the red cat that was printed on the Prusa, he has like, it's much harder to see the layers. It almost looks shiny. It is a different filament, so that could be part of it. This overhang under the paw, it's still there, but it's significantly less messy than it was on the blue cat. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. So again, these are both very good prints. If you're getting into 3D printing and you're using a consumer printer and you're getting prints of this quality, totally, you're good to go. Definitely be happy. But you can definitely see the difference between a $200 one and a $1,000 printer, I think at least. And they feel totally different, and let's show you their backsides. Gross. I'm sorry. Anyway. This kind of gives you a chance right here, especially on the blue cat. You can see the lines on his arms, whereas the red cat is a lot smoother and a lot cleaner looking. And they've got cute little tails. Those aren't turds. I'm sorry. The jokes are just so bad. Like, anyway. So these are the two prints. I'm fairly certain that is what this printer is printing right now. And if I pull this camera over here now to kind of show you, it really looks like that's what's happening. So there we go. That's where we're at now with the new printer. Oh, you're gonna need focus on here. Let me tell you, this 4-year-old MacBook that I'm running all this on, that I do everything with for work and home, this sucker earns its keep like nobody's business. Because I am running so much right now, including this whole live stream and 3 cameras and microphone and camera apps through it, and it is handling it like a champ. So there we go. That's where we're at right now. The base really looks a lot like the base of these, and so I'm pretty sure that's what this print's going to be. If you're just tuning in, what I'm printing was not labeled on the card that came with the printer, so it's kind of a mystery. But I'm guessing it's one of these cats. Alrighty. Let's check in with comments. It looks perfect. Capture the moment. Yes, it does. Good pun, my friend. Oh God. What did Proc Slime say? I love you, Proc Slime. You're great. Derek Snyder said, I like the blue cat. You know what, Derek Snyder? I like your channel. It's been really fun since you mentioned that you were doing your like daily vlogs last week or a couple weeks ago to kind of like check out what you're up to. Your channel is really a genuine, intimate, like up close and personal look into somebody's life, and it's cool because it really helps you understand you, and I like that, so keep it up. Let's see here. Those tails look like Cheetos, Proc Slime. Yeah, they do. Mike Alvarez, is there a process to smooth out creation so you don't see the layers at all? Yes, there is. The plastic that I'm printing with is PLA, which is the easiest plastic to print with. It's very like it's just easy to deal with. But it's also not the strongest. Living in the desert in the summer heat, if you try to print something and like leave it in your car, it would definitely melt. So it has a low melting point. Otherwise, it's fine. ABS is a different kind of plastic. That's what a lot of, like, when you go to the store and you buy things that are plastic, a lot of them are ABS plastic. It's much stronger. It's a bit harder to print with. It takes a lot higher temperatures. But you can get like acetone and different chemicals that you can put on the prints to smooth them out, and then they look literally like they were injection molded. They don't even look 3D printed. And that works really great on ABS. I don't know so much about PLA. I do have a little tool here, which is a deburring tool, actually on Chuck Hellebuck's channel, which is his real name, and that's cool. Chef 3D printing. He recommended getting these little deburring tools, which have like just this tiny little blade. It's not strong enough to actually cut you or anything, but you kind of just take it and then you scrape it on a print, and it pulls off any like loose edges and things. This is like $5, so it's totally worth it. But yeah, so Mike, to answer your question, you can totally smooth out prints, modify them, paint them. Actually, in like my jars of test prints, I think I have one that's actually kind of cool. This was like a Polynesian tiki head that I printed. And I actually printed it using, oh my god, well, back there. There's a filament that actually has wood in it, so it's a mix of wood and plastic, and so this is wood, and then what you can do with it is you can actually, when it's done, you can actually sand it, stain it, and then I even burned it a little bit just to kind of give it like an actual wood look. But it's crazy because you print it and when you sand it, it smells like wood and like sandpaper. It's pretty cool. So yeah, this was printed out of wood that I played with. I have a Dremel tool that I use to, all of these. If you go to like Home Depot and buy a Dremel and get all these crazy attachments, these are great for 3D prints, especially if you're printing anything that has to do with like Lego or that needs to fit in very precisely and you need to fine tune it. The Dremel comes in really handy if your printer's not like crazy accurate. But it's also a good idea to go grab, this is like $5-10 at Harbor Freight, but a digital caliper. The video I posted last week kind of talks about this, where I make a 3D print. This is a great way to measure your prints, calibrate your printer. It's also really fun to have because it's cool. So there's that. Wow, look at this LED light flicker happening back here. Woo! It was on this camera, man. That LED light flicker, even though anti-flicker is turned on, is fierce. So, let's see. Put calipers away. Place for everything in its place. Sorry. Here's something that's sort of interesting. We have this jar of goodies. These are like extra, not extra, this is just sort of like the remnants of prints from the last year or so that I was just collecting them because they make, you kind of collect this stuff as garbage as time goes on. And I was going to throw it away, but like it seems to have like an infinite amount of space because it doesn't fill up. And I just keep adding to it, and now it's like basically an art project. So I'm just going to keep it going. It's been going since about February or March of last year, and we're just going strong with it. But yeah, if you get into 3D printing, you find little shards of plastic everywhere. It's quite frustrating sometimes. Let's get this back on the print so you guys can check it out. I really like the way this thing looks when it moves. It looks so unusual. Oh yeah, this is definitely the cat. Or, actually... Oh yeah, it's the cat, but it's printing... Oh god, I didn't unplug it. It's printing this way as the front, even though it's not the front of the printer. So the card is kind of a weird orientation. The model on the card. Yeah. So that's where we're at. Let me check in with you guys. Derek was asking if you can you use metals in 3D printers. I think that there are really expensive printers that are now starting to be able to print with metal. I know that the FAA like 6 or 7 months ago approved the first parts to be 3D printed to use on airplanes, which is really cool because it shows like the technology is maturing to the point where it's safe enough to use and cheap enough to use on airplanes. But I don't know that there's any like consumer price printers yet that could print with metal. And how long will this take? I don't know. The red cat I printed earlier today took about 2 hours, but my Prusa tends to print a little more slowly, and it prints slowly so it can give better results. This sucker seems like it's printing pretty darn fast. It looks like it's probably about 15% done already. So that's almost like maybe like 1% a minute or so. Not that that's the best accurate way to measure it, but maybe it'd take about an hour, hour and a half to finish the cat. We will see how long it takes to go here. Let's see. Oh wait, Derek, who am I thinking of? If you're not doing YouTube, who was I thinking of? Well, somebody was. That was on a live stream. Why did I think it was you? Anyway, I guess if you did YouTube, you'd be really good at it. And whoever I was talking about before, which I need to find out, because that was, now I feel like an ass. Because somebody joined in, chatted, checked out channels, good stuff, and then I got his name wrong, which kind of sucks. So I'll look that up in a second. Like a 3D Jackson Pollock. Print the Ugandan Knuckles meme. I don't know what that is, Prog Slime, and I'm very curious, but because you suggested it, I'm also kind of scared to like, just kind of scared a little bit. Let me see. I am killing my internet connection with all this stuff right now. Which is funny. Oh wow, yeah. YouTube is like, oh my gosh, because you're Derek Snyder, and there was someone named Matthew Steiner. It was his channel that I checked out, and he just uploaded a video today called Rooting for the Villain. So Matthew Steiner, not Derek Snyder. Sorry, Derek. Sorry, Matthew. I apologize. Again, I'm an ass. Just Google Ugandan Knuckles. Okay, fine. Let's do live Googling, because that's what we're going to see. Which, let me tell you guys, earlier today, I was looking up this printer on YouTube, and I was trying to type in monoprice. No, I was trying to type in MP Mini Delta, and instead, this wasn't what I was thinking. It was literally like I was on the iPad and my fingers just hit the wrong things. So instead of MP Mini Delta, I typed in Momkini, which I assume is like a bikini for moms. It wasn't the printer. That's my story. Ugandan. Okay, I'm literally going to knowyourmeme.com to see this. Oh. Okay. Oh, yeah, I could totally print this. Sorry. You're just trying to help me out. Actually, I'm going to go to Thingiverse right now and see if there's a see if there's already a file up. Andy says, do a speed test. How? Like race them? I could race them and never mind. That would be gambling, and you guys could bet on them. But I probably shouldn't do that. Slightly better shot. Let's try to get better focus happening. There it is. That's some nice crispy focus. Next stream, old 3D printer versus new. That's actually a great idea, to literally in front of you print the same thing and see the difference. This sucker's printing quite fast. It's already up to like, you know, I don't know, 20% of the cat, basically. But the cat is hollow inside, it's not solid. And you can adjust, in this case the model is hollow, but you can still adjust how thick the infill is on the walls and things. Looking sharp. You know it. I like to focus on quality. Ugh. What I've noticed is when I say terrible jokes and someone else is around, they get to tell me to stop. If it's just me, I have to absorb it all, and it's really hard. All right. I'm checking out Thingiverse.com, which is a site you can go to download pre-made models that you can 3D print. You can slice them and print them yourself. Let me see if there's anything for Ugandan knuckles. There is not. I could be the first. And probably the last. Air horns. Ba, 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 ba. So yeah, so that's printing, that's doing its thing. What I would probably do for a quality test on printers is print a benchy, which if you're somebody who 3D prints at all, you're very familiar with benchies. And basically what a benchy is this little tugboat, which let me put on the webcam so you can see. You can see it. Benchy. Oh, cool. This looks better. And then I could even like like it's an automatic thing. I'm sorry. Probably get copyright for like the Wheel of Fortune's theme song. Anyway, this is a very popular benchmark print. This one was printed on the Prusa, and it's ultra like clean and high quality. The Prusa is just an incredible printer. I can't say enough about it. Let's play with focus here. Move it a little closer so you can see everything is mirrored. There we go, looks pretty good. And so the reason a lot of people, and if you get into 3D printing and you see these little boats that people are printing everywhere, and you're like, why are people obsessed with tugboats? This is called a benchy. If you go to 3dbenchy.com, you can download the model and find out all about it. And what it is it's a calibration print where you can see how well your printer is printing, because even though it's adorable, it's actually kind of like a torture test for a 3D printer, because it has, let me see if I can get a little pointer here, it has all of these archways, and then it also has like these overhangs where if you look at the front of it, the front is hanging off at a 45-degree angle, and it doesn't print with any kind of support. It just prints layer by layer out a little more, which means that it's almost printing in midair as much as it possibly could. Most printers have like a 45-degree threshold where after that it starts to collapse. And then it's got some different measurements in the back. For example, there's like a cargo bin. There's this little like thingy here that's supposed to be circular and hollow. There's a steering wheel inside. There's these little holes on the side, like the front. it's really hard stuff to print, and I've definitely printed some benchies that look just like zombies. The roof is angled, and then you're supposed to take your calipers and measure it and make sure your printer's printing to the right dimensions. So once the CAD is done, this will probably be the first print that I slice, just so I can compare it and measure it and see how accurate this guy is printing. But this printer seems to be doing, like, so far, the one print, which is the test print, it looks great. It definitely seems to have less visible lines than the Blue Cat did from the first Mini. So let me see if I can show you guys that. I'm really happy with this printer. I don't know what my plans are really for it, but they make this style of printer much larger. I don't know why these ones get scaled up huge, but I've seen ones that are like 4 feet tall or more that are this style, but they're just massive. And so I've been curious about how these printers work, because it's so different from the way the other ones work. Let me see if I can zoom in a little more to give you a better view of the quality we're getting here. Let me just take the camera off the thingy. Oh, nice, that's perfect. Sorry, I'm having issues focusing. It's the way it is. That's pretty good. And 3, 2, 1, boom! That's where we're at right now with the cat. So it's looking pretty darn good. I'm happy with it. And I don't know if you can see actually, but even though the cat's hollow, you probably can't see. As it's printing the walls, it is filling them in a little bit, and that's what the infill refers to when you set the infill setting, is how hollow or not hollow the prints are that you're making. This probably has like a 10% infill, it doesn't need a ton, but it also determines how strong or not strong the prints become. The camera's kind of vibrating a little bit from the printer itself. I don't have a tripod that goes that low. But anyway, that's basically it. And so if you're kind of curious, the extruder back here does have a little fan on it. Not the extruder. The extruder motor has a little fan on the back, like a computer fan. And so the filament gets pulled down through this tube into here. Just a bunch of motors and gears. And then that nozzle is so hot that it's melting the plastic, and then the printer just draws out a shape, one layer of that shape, and it's melted plastic, but then the fan cools it so that it dries right away. The printer then lifts up just a little bit and does it again and again and again, so layer by layer by layer. That's how these type of printers print. There are different ones that print out of like resin and different materials, but most 3D printers, when you see them, that's kind of the process of how they work. Derek Snyder's asking, should I vlog? I don't know, is that a serious question or not, Derek? Like, are you interested in vlogging, or are you not interested in vlogging? Because I have some thoughts about that. And I don't know, do you have a YouTube channel? Like, do you make videos or what? Because here's the thing about that. I had wanted to make a YouTube channel for like years. I mean, Andy, who, I don't know if Andy's still here or not, but Andy and I met when we were 11 years old, and because we were both always out in dodgeball at school, and so day after day, finally we decided to start talking to each other because we were out and just sitting against the wall while all the other like athletic kids were playing. And we both really like movies, and so literally all we did was make movies like every weekend for most of our childhood thing. Then Andy moved out of town, and every time we still got together, we made movies. He went to film school. Oh, good, he's still here. So I'm telling your life story. if you didn't hear. He went to film school for both a bachelor's and a graduate degree and has done a lot of pretty cool stuff. And then I became a teacher who then ended up teaching film and media, so it kind of worked out. But that whole time, like, YouTube has been around since 2005, and literally I didn't upload, I think Mike Alvarez, I uploaded your video like 10 years ago of you doing a recording for your album that you were making all by yourself where you're playing all the instruments. That was like the only video I ever uploaded to YouTube, and I only uploaded that for Mike so that he could share it because he needed to promote the album that he was working on. And that's it. And then I was teaching digital media, and I wasn't sharing any of the stuff I was making. I wasn't even making any of my own stuff. I was only making stuff for school and for work and for, which is fun and great, but it's not the same as like doing whatever you want to do on your channel and talking to whoever you want to talk to. So it wasn't until last summer that I was like, I'm really late to the game. I'm really tired of being the digital media teacher that's not like making his own digital media. And so I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and I jumped into it with some stuff about drones because I was working on getting my drone pilot's license last summer. And then I kind of went into a few other things trying to figure out what to do, and it wasn't, I've told this story many times, but it was actually Heather who we met through YouTube like a month or two after I started my channel, and she was the one who pushed me to start. That was her answer to everything. Why aren't you making stuff? Why aren't you making more? I mean, like, just create. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I should be doing that. And then, I don't know. Then I just did, and I was overthinking it like crazy. And then last August, I started doing a 30-day upload challenge, which, I mean, a lot of you already probably know this, but where I uploaded a video every day for 30 days in a row, which was like such a good push to just get into developing your own style and figuring out what you like and don't like. I really do like some of those videos too. I got some stuff I'm really proud of. Some stuff also is like not so great, but I learned something from all of those experiences. And then as time went on, I went to like weekly uploads where I'm trying to like kind of focus and figure out my channel the way I wanted. It's been so much fun and so rewarding and so genuinely like therapeutic to start a YouTube channel. Let's see, capture the moment saying, Derek, if you want to vlog, go for it and stick with it as much as you can until you don't want to. That is the beauty of YouTube. It's up to you. Like, it's YouTube. It's not there to. You can do whatever you want or not whatever you want. And the crazy part though, which I'm saying all this for a reason, the crazy part is when you get past the point of wanting to make a video and share things, how hard it actually becomes. Not the video part. Like, the video part for me is definitely work because it takes effort, to set stuff up and to plan things and to edit things and shoot things, but that's fun. I'll do that all day. If I could just do that all day, every day, I would be so happy. The hard part is the actual, like, if you take your channel seriously. And when I started my channel, the goal was, I don't care who's watching or if anybody watches, I just wanted to upload stuff and make things. And I did that, but after a few months, you really get to the point where you're like, I'm kind of proud of the stuff I'm making and I'm putting effort into it, so I want people to watch it. And then once you get serious about learning how, like, well, how do I get my stuff out there? Because it might not necessarily be that my views are low because nobody wants to watch it. It might be because nobody knows that it's there. So how do I get that to happen? And learning that, and it's a lot of work. And I noticed I totally lost a subscriber since I started this stream, which is a thing that happens. People like me, and then they get to know more of me, and then they tend to leave. Just kidding. Partially. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is because I promise you this is not a sales pitch, but it's totally a sales pitch, is Heather, who's been commenting. If you go check out her channel, Heather Just Create, she go to zerotoyoutubehero.com, which is a website Heather just started for an online class that she put together that's 8 modules on how to go from thinking about starting a channel or making videos to having a thriving channel. And it's like, I've gotten to take most of the class for free just because I'm lucky, but I would 100% pay a lot more than she's asking people to pay for it. And it's a really good course, and she's doing a pre-sale for it right now. It's $99 till the end of tonight. So that sounds like a lot, but if you look at similar courses, it's literally like a third or a fourth of the price, maybe even less. And it's not from some heartless corporation. It's from someone who actually like cares about this stuff a lot and is really good at it. And if you want to know how not only to like make videos, but to like promote them, market them, understand the platforms, not just YouTube, but even others, it's a really good idea. So check out zero-to-youtubehero.com, because Heather's helping me go. I went from zero to like YouTube, I don't know, I wouldn't say hero, but like YouTube participant, enthusiast, because I like to project my enthusiasm. Anyway, yes, you're welcome, Heather, for the shout out. But it's, seriously though, go to zero-to-youtubehero.com if you're somebody who's thinking about starting a channel, because any question you have about the process will be answered, and it's genuinely good course regardless of your experience level. So if you're like, I mean, Andy, you're really good at stuff, but like someone like Andy literally has a degree, multiple degrees in like production and filmmaking. So if you're that skilled, but you just don't know how the like platforms work, it's still beneficial. If you've literally never filmed anything before and you just use your phone and film everything up and down and it looks terrible, it's also for you, because it's more about finding what you want to communicate and share. And like, seriously, when I had the idea to start a YouTube channel, I didn't think I'd be in my garage on a Sunday night, like live streaming a 3D print. Yet here we are. And yeah, it's been so fun. Like, it's the best thing I ever did, and one of the best things I've ever done. The only regret I have is that I didn't do it way earlier. So definitely, if you're thinking about making videos, just do it. And if you really want to get serious about it, check out Heather's course for sure. Would you say the people who unsubscribe should unsubscribe? Yo, you don't want them following you anyway, trust me. Word. Yeah, so Andy said this is a sweet home studio shop. Yeah, so literally this is just my workbench in the garage, and all I did was pull it away from the wall so that I could stand behind it. But I got this like Mr. Wizard feel going. I kind of like it, and I kind of think I'd like to take this corner of the garage and actually like turn it, like leave it permanently ready to film stuff, because I have my inside room, which is nice and fun, and like, but that's more like tech. That's more like good for talking heads stuff, but it's not like, there's not like workspace there. I kind of like this. I'm sort of thinking, like, literally, this is just like, here's my ladder and stuff. Like, it's not like something I set up for this. I just kind of push this away from the wall, but I think I want to work this out a little more. And literally, I don't know if you guys could see this, but the way that my lighting is set up is I have one of the lights is just mounted on my bike. The other one is just over here. So it's not like, it's not the fanciest setup, but the result is good. And one of my goals this year, which I did my very first Sunday live stream was about like goals for my channel this year, and one of them was to really improve live streams. And so I've got multiple cameras going, better lighting going, got the chat overlay happening. Look at the things people are saying. Oh wait, I should switch this. There we go. Look at the things people are saying. Look at what this guy said. Oh wait, this is Heather. Look at what Heather said. Wait, what's that? Wait, this is hard. Mike, who I can't point to exactly, but there's Andy. Only critique, you should have more things explode. Damn, you're right. I've had 0 explosions, but this is only 50% done, so there's like an 80% chance we're still gonna have an explosion at some point. Man, it's funny because like let me tell you a story about Andy that. Sorry, Andy. It's not really about you. It's just about our friendship, and then also I see Mike jumping in on the explosion thing, and yeah, there's a reason that we're friends. So I remember, like, this was a long time. This was probably like 10 years ago when I came out to visit you, Andy, for the first time in LA, and we hadn't seen each other in like. Actually, we hadn't seen each other. This was I'm freaky with dates. This was in 2008. We hadn't seen each other since 2002. We had just like talked and stuff. And so like literally, this was the end of college. We hadn't seen each other since high school. And you were like, hey man, come out and like stay for a night or two. And I was like, okay. And I was driving out there, and I remember I was driving out there, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna go visit someone that I haven't seen in like 6 years. What if this is terrible? What if like we're not friends anymore? What if we don't get along? Like, when was the last time we saw each other? And then because I'm weird, my thought was it pre 9/11? And I was like, no, it's 2002, so it was after 9/11. I don't know why that was the thought I had. It was the thought I had. And so I drove out to LA a couple hours. I got there, I knocked on the door, Andy opened the door, and he was like, hey man, it's been too long. And I was like, I know. And then Andy asked, how long has it been? And I was like, it's been since like 2002. And his response was, so we were living in a post 9/11 world at the time? And I was like, boom, that's why we're friends. Like, that's why we're friends. It doesn't matter if we don't hang out all the time. It doesn't matter if we go a bit of time without talking. It's just same wavelength since we were 11. It's the best. I need to clarify capture the moments comment about missing explosions. Yeah, so Damien was one of my former students at my old school. He graduated, but he did a ton of production work, and we were obsessed with putting like Michael Bay explosions in all of our work, especially like the weekly broadcast announcements that we did. And so it was just like, hey, the winter dance is coming up. Explosions everywhere. Also, there's a blood drive. Explosions everywhere. And so that's what he meant. Just context. Are we not doing phrasing anymore? So, anyway. This printer is crazy fast. I should have set a timer. I don't know how long this has been going, but man, this is way faster than the Prusa was earlier. Try to get this plastic off because I think this guy's gonna look a lot sexier with no plastic. Oh shoot. It's always a good idea to not move your 3D printer while you're printing. So let me move my 3D printer while I'm printing. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of it. This is the print. That's the history of my channel. That's a weird story about Andy and Damien. What else is happening in your guys' world? Oh my gosh. There we go. This is like really hard plastic to take off. Oh, much better. You know, I gotta say, this is a really nice looking 3D printer. Like, it's all made out of metal, which I like. The only plastic parts are, you know, some of the fan parts, and this handle is plastic. Everything else is just straight up metal, which is great. Because it doesn't feel cheap, it doesn't feel cheesy, it feels very sturdy, it feels very heavy. Which, I don't know, you just kind of want. Oh, Mike, I started printing 45 minutes ago. Cool. Tell the story of how I met the great Damien. It was the first day of school, and I said, Damien? And you said, here. But then you also, like, took over that classroom for 4 years after that. So, you immediately, as a 9th grader, were like, yep, this place is mine now. And then it was. But yeah, Damien, what are you up to? Aren't you doing some freelance, like, photo, video work? Do you have a website you want to throw out for people to check out or anything? So I will say, what Damien had is one of those things that I like the most in students, which is he didn't necessarily come into the class with the most technical skill. He was in 9th grade, like how much skill was he supposed to have? But he was so willing to learn whatever he needed to learn. If it was editing, if it was equipment, if it was video, if it was still photo, you know, sometimes he would wing it a little more than I would have liked. But he was always willing to do it. And if you told him he needed to have something done on a certain time for like a community project or whatever, man, he would have it done at that time. And that's pretty cool. And he got pretty darn good. And I wasn't even there for his last year because I switched schools, or his last year. And so I don't even know where his skill level went to as a senior. And now as an adult out in the world, you're still doing video stuff. You got to be like quite capable, I would imagine. But that's always something I kind of, you know, so nice. I would take just when students have curiosity, that's the best. Otherwise, it's so painful. I'm having such a hard time with this plastic. I'm gonna just leave that for a minute because like the profanities were coming. Okay, so Damien, you're a freelancer and you've been hired for several events, and it's all thanks to me, dude. It's not thanks to me. I mean, like, we provided some of the places for you to learn your skills, but trust me, I've had students that have 0% in classes because they don't do anything, even though they have $1 million of equipment in front of them. And you were someone who, from day one, like, I mean, in like week 3 of your freshman year, you started planning to film. You started filming things you wanted to incorporate into like a senior video you were planning to make 4 years later. So most 9th graders don't do that. Cool. I'm glad you guys are checking out each other's videos. I see Mike just supported Damien. That's awesome. And that's the thing. Like, this is exactly why I like live chats, because I could have made a video about this and it would have been a heck of a lot shorter. But it's the interaction. Like, I'm printing purple because Heather told me to print purple. We talked about vlogging, talked about weird ideas with Prox Lime. Damien and Mike kind of got connected a little bit. That's where it's like I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm trying, and Heather has kind of like been the one to like push me towards this, and we work on this issue a lot together, is to kind of crack the code on live streaming and what you want to do in a live stream, because like it's such a crazy thing. I'm literally in my home broadcasting, and I know like it's not the biggest viewership live at the moment, but man, the fact that you can just do this and anyone in the world can watch and then talk to each other and talk to you is freaking nuts. Damien said I educated him what looks good. Yeah, because I'm real picky about things not looking terrible. And yeah, trust me. If you use that default Myriad font in Final Cut, get out of here. There's no room for that. Use it almost anything else. Almost anything else. I have a few fonts you should not be using. All right. We're getting into the cat's face now. Da, 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 da. Let's see here. Let me point out something. So do you guys see there's like the little hanging down part here? That looks a little bit sloppier than on the other ones, but again, that's because there's no support. It's essentially printing in midair. And stuff like that's not a big deal because you can just take like these tiny little clippers and clip that stuff off. You know, very rarely does a 3D print pop off the build plate without you needing to do some kind of finishing work on it. Let's see. Let's just see if I had other interesting 3D prints. My big kick now, these are really fun and these are great to like calibrate your stuff, but they're not practical. Like, what am I gonna do with this? I could have like cat finger puppet show and be like, you took my money, and be like, you're not the boss of me, and then they kiss. But it's not super practical, so my goal has been to like create practical prints, and every time I can do that, where you have a problem or something's missing or broken, and then you print something, even like, you know, these guys are 3D printed, which is cool, because I just needed small little containers that freaking Home Depot didn't have, and just print it. And stuff like that's super easy. I made a video, not last week, but the week before, about designing a 3D print from start to finish, which is just a super simple holder for some dry erase markers. But that kind of stuff, practical uses for 3D printing, is awesome. You can print replacement parts for your printer, and a lot of people get into that, and that's really fun. But to me, that gets kind of like, it's like a snake eating its own tail. Like, my 3D printer is super useful because I can print parts for my 3D printer. It's like, well, cool. It is cool, but like, it's not super practical. Oh, Aquabat finger puppets, Mike. I think you're onto something. And capture the moments that get out of here, Helvetica. Helvetica, look, is a damn near perfect font. I've moved on to more of a Futura phase for the last couple years, and then more than anything, just doing my own font, because it's frustrating when you make something you think looks good and it looks like something else. Like I know everyone's all into Supreme, like the Louis Vuitton label now, where it's like, man, look at this Supreme stuff, which, first of all, I'm sorry if you're into it. Cool, great. I am not a huge fan of the style or the price tag. Also, it's just italicized Helvetica, and it looks a lot like the Supercuts logo, and the first 5 letters are the same as Supercuts, and that's all I can think of when I see it is Supercuts, and it's just a bag that says Supercuts on the side, and I don't know. So it's always a bummer when you try to design something and then it ends up looking like something that's already, you know, somebody else is using, or somebody uses your design. So if you are able to do your own original fonts and lettering, then that is much less likely to happen. Yeah, so Mike, you just said you'd buy them if they were Aquabats. This is a cool thing. So in terms of like trinkets within the 3D printing community, you know, people love sharing their test prints and stuff, and I love the 3D printing community, both on like Facebook and Reddit and YouTube. It's such a great, like, help me help you type community. Help you help me, whatever. But there is kind of a thing where it's like there's a push to like get beyond trinkets and get into practical original designs. But trinkets, what we've been doing at my school, or we've been working on for a while, is printing out like these logos of like this, not logos, but they're sort of like nameplates that are self-standing, and they're really like dense, and they're like multicolored, of the school mascot. They could be teachers' names, or like office things for like desk decorations and things. They take about 6 hours to print, so you can do one per school day. They take about $1 worth of plastic filament, but we can sell them for upwards of $10. And so literally it's just in the morning I'll go in, hit print on the 3D printer in my classroom. By the end of the day, there's a print ready to go that we can make a $9 profit on. It's a great fundraiser. You know, kind of like still kicking it into gear, but in terms of profit margins, that's huge. And then if we got into custom designing things, like, you know, if a football player wanted their name and their jersey number or something on like a plate thing, I mean, that could be upwards of $20, $25, maybe even $30 to design it and print it for them in whatever colors they want. And that's a great fundraiser, and then getting students to do the designs is pretty rad. So there's a lot of uses for 3D printing, even though it's not always super apparent. Yeah, I'm glad, Damien, you just threw your URL out there. That's awesome. I'm gonna check it out later because I want to see where Damien's talent's gone. But I can genuinely say, from 14 years old, he was a super talented kid, and he's had a number of years of experience since then. just striking it out on his own as a freelancer, and definitely someone to kind of check out. He's pretty good. Oh, Heather's ready with the fire explosion emojis. This is where it becomes like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and I can be like, I can invite special guests and things. I guess. Well, anyway, there's room for special guests over here, should that happen. Oh, Heather just told Damien to get my rec on LinkedIn. I need to like start a LinkedIn because I don't have one. But I'm trying really, I'm just because of Heather like really learning how social media works, because I was such a Luddite with it. I was telling her literally like less than a year ago, I was like looking into those sites that just erase you from the internet, like all sites, all forums, all past posts, all whatever, because I was like, I was becoming like a Ron Swanson type. And now it's sort of the exact opposite as I'm live streaming from my garage. But that's all Heather, like helping me see the value, the purpose in that. And it goes way beyond superficiality, it goes way beyond raging narcissism, and it goes into the best possible utilization of the technology that most of us just have access to at all times. And so, anyway, that's a weird diatribe into like why I need to start a LinkedIn. Oh, what's this? Do we have a special guest? Oh, we do. Why, hello. Here. Bam, now the light is purple because special guest.
Hi. Is this it?
That's the main one.
Okay, you're really small. It's like really small on the screen.
This big now.
Oh, you made it big.
This is what we're seeing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, see what I mean?
No, but this is the live one, sorry. Because the main thing...
Because we see this.
Yeah, it's for the print, man.
I know, but the print's not really changing that. There's not a lot of motion. And then you're like holding finger puppets, and it's like this small.
I'm trying. You gotta throw it up on the TV. Get it off your phone. Do what Mike did and put it on TV.
Okay, here we go.
You brought a tissue with you, okay.
Yeah, so,
This is for Andy.
This is for explosions. I don't know what to do. I just figured if you wanted to do something with it.
Shouldn't we do a whole story? What was your story with your thing?
What thing?
With this, were we supposed to write something on it?
Yeah. So, okay. Well, because then that kind of gives it away. Well, okay. Here, I'll do it with you.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have scissors?
Yeah, I do.
We did not practice this. So, if it goes wrong, sorry. Jeez, look at these things. Okay. I'm kind of in the middle of dinner. But, so you're gonna write something you're afraid of, or something that's been, like, holding you back.
Okay.
Like, why haven't you, like, done something that you've been wanting to do for a while?
I mean, I have, though.
Yeah, you've been doing really good.
I feel like I've been trying pretty hard at that. But something, so like, write a fear.
Yeah.
Is what you're telling me. Okay. I want to do this genuine. I'm not just going to write, like, bears or something.
Yeah.
What would be a fear that I have?
I really like your setup. This is such a cool set.
Yeah, Andy said it looked
Hi
good.
everyone, I'm Heather, blogger, creator, and entrepreneur. I'm documenting my journey, building share Stark Media. Oh, I totally messed up. It's weird not being on my channel.
Yeah, well,
it's weird looking at a camera during a live stream and not a laptop.
Oh, yeah, but it looks so dope.
It does look really good. Okay, go.
Wait. Oh, Damien said, I see you as Mr. Rogers. It was so funny because he said that right before you walked in, where before I started this, I was like, it could be like Mr. Rogers and you could bring the mail or whatever. Anyway, Here's a big fear. But you said it should be something holding me back?
Yeah.
Oh. What is holding me back? What am I being held back from? Think we can go to like therapy for a minute?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard because you're doing such a good job. But you just went through a whole explanation of how, like, you know, you had held off for so long for starting a YouTube channel, and now you're learning like social media platforms and stuff. You're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a bad thing. How about like?
No. Okay, well, go ahead.
Do you need like a spark to like light something that
You know what?
You've been really enthusiastic about, perhaps?
Here's what I would really like. I would like, as I'm taking my channel way more seriously in the last few months. Not that I didn't take it seriously before, but moving from just creating for the sake of creating, putting it out into the void and not even caring, to like wanting to do well. And I feel no shortage of ideas, but sometimes you have an idea and what's missing is the spark of inspiration. So I'm gonna write inspiration on here.
I like it.
I'm writing on. I'm trying not to make it bleed through to the. It's very thin.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bled through.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's a memory.
Sorry. I ruined everything he had. Like everything.
It's fine. I can fix it.
Okay, so this is what he wrote on this piece of paper. Am I holding it up right?
Yeah. Let me to that camera there.
Okay.
It says inspiration because that, like, having that, like, not just an idea, but like the inspiration which leads to the enthusiasm behind the thing is pretty important.
Okay. So, do you remember how I did it? I kind of just like threw it. So you're gonna do it.
Okay. What do I do?
Here, kind of like throw it. But it's gonna like fall.
Okay.
So try to like maybe throw it like that way and have it fall this way.
Oh,
yeah, but don't have it go that way.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay. Oh God. Remember explosions? Remember that time Tom burned down his house live?
I'm scared.
I'm scared too. But we need the spark of inspiration.
We got this. Here we go. Ready? Oh, light it up that way. There you go.
That was so cool.
Oh my God! It like literally lit. Oh my God, that was crazy.
You're going inside. Well, how about that for explosions?
Yeah.
You bring
Okay,
in
we
the
have
fire.
one more piece.
Yeah, so let's.
Wait, let's try something. I don't know. Let's do something else.
Tell them what this is, though. Why do we just light a piece of paper on fire?
But then that gives the magic away.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Alright, so this is flash paper. And I had an event back in September. It was called a progress party because I wanted to celebrate my progress. And I realized that, especially on this journey of discovering that you're an artist and a creator, it's really weird from like growing up and feeling like you don't really have anything to give and you're kind of just going with the flow. And then all of a sudden, I started making YouTube videos and I found my voice. I felt empowered, and I realized that I was kind of like the only one holding myself back. So during the progress party, I wanted people to kind of go through a mini version of that. So I wanted them to write like their fears or their doubts or whatever was holding them back from like really doing whatever it is that you can do. Like, I would have never thought that I could be a YouTuber, and you know, I mean, I don't have millions of subscribers, but I definitely feel like YouTube hero. So people were supposed to come into the event and write down like, you know, I'm scared. Like for me, one of the reasons that was holding me back was I'm scared of my parents because they really wanted me to have like a legit job, which is not legit in their eyes.
Income, though.
Yeah. Or like, you know, you're scared what people will think of you. I know this one here was scared to put out his YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
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 So, and then I was going to pin everyone's fears onto a thing and just light the whole thing on fire and it was going to all disappear.
Nice. I like that.
So it's like nothing's holding you back. Woo!
I just want to point out real quick, just in case, I saw that Nico Kuhn, I don't know if I'm saying that right, said he just ordered one of these and can't wait to watch it.
Yay!
If you just tuned in, because I think you might be new to the stream, I just unboxed this, plugged it in, and printed the one test print that was on the card, which happened to be the cat.g code. So that's what's printing down in the bottom corner over there. And so far, it's coming out really nice. So I'm quite impressed, and it's been really fast. It's been just up on an hour, and we're coming around like the final lap here. So I'm quite excited. Anyway, back to
Have fun with the last piece.
sharing sparks. I should save this to end the live stream, huh?
Well, here, I kind of want to take a piece because I might go live.
Okay. When will you go live?
Maybe tonight.
Maybe tonight.
On Facebook.
On Facebook. What? You can do live streaming on Facebook?
Yes!
What a concept. So if someone wanted to go from here to see you on Facebook, what would they do?
Facebook.com/HeatherJustCreate. Tom and I also have a live stream show on ShareSpark Media. It's called ShareSpark TV, where we talk about the impact.
We break down the impact of digital media, news, pop culture, and the world around you. It's pretty fun, actually. That's every Thursday on Facebook. But yeah.
Anyway,
most of you are familiar with Heather, but if you're not, please check out Heather Just Create. Check out Facebook.com/Heather Just Create, and of course till 11:59 tonight Pacific time.
You're so great. There's a corgi right here.
There is a corgi.
Okay, well.
But what do we do? What about till 11:59 p.m. tonight?
Until 11:59 tonight, you can sign up for the early bird price for my new online course, ShareSpark Media's online course called Zero to YouTube Hero, where I will basically break down everything that it takes to create a thriving YouTube channel based off of my experience from starting from zero. And I heard Tom say it earlier. He's basically been helping me develop the class because he's like everything that is in the class he's doing.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of what I teach in my
that too.
high school program.
If you're watching this right there, to me, that's like proof that he has a thriving YouTube channel that he can go live and people will tune in. So I break down the entire process from like content, like coming up with content ideas, production, pre-production, post-production, uploading, SEO, trying to build an audience, all of that stuff.
It's great. It's genuinely great. So, like I said, check that out if you want, and then
02youtubehero.com, or sign up for the mailing list, and you can decide to buy later. But tonight is the last time you can get it for $99. It goes up tonight.
And I promise this wasn't like, let me do an hour and 40 minutes of a live stream to like wedge in a sales pitch. It's because it's something that's actually great and important, and we both believe in, and she has been busting her butt, working really hard on it.
Thanks. I'm gonna go finish eating dinner.
Okay. Have fun. Enjoy your dinner. Oh, that's so awkward. I love you.
I love you.
All right. Back to blue. So, this live stream, like most of them, is all over the place, but that's okay. So, let's jump back over here then and see how this print looks. Oh no, I just took it away. That's not how you do that. That's not how you do it. There we go. Boom. You know what? I need to make a video all about OBS and how like it works and how I'm learning to use it, because it is pretty friggin' rad. But anyway, since my main feature here is this printer, I wanted to put the print big so that way anyone like Nico who's tuning in to see what the printer can actually see the quality. So hopefully when you get your printer relatively soon, you know, this has been relatively problem-free. If you go back and watch the start of the live stream when I unboxed it, the menu was a little bit confusing. It's not super intuitive. The icons are, but the navigation through it with the buttons is really weird, and nothing is labeled, and there was no printed instruction manual. But aside from that, it really was just plug in, put in Filament, and hit print. And this is where we're at right now, which is pretty cool. Let's see, where are we at with this chat? Oh, Damien. Yeah. That, I want to go rewatch the explosion part of this when it's done, because that was pretty sweet. Yeah. I felt like there was something else really important I wanted to talk about with 3D printing. Maybe this printer. Maybe monoprice, actually. So if you're new to 3D printing and you're not sure where to go, I strongly recommend Monoprice. They have a lot of different options for 3D printers in a lot of different price ranges, but this one is $150. I'm impressed with it so far. I want to play with it more before I'm like, yeah, definitely get it. But the other one, the Mini Select, which is kind of a more standard looking 3D printer, is super worth the $200 they charge for it to get you into the hobby. It's kind of like buying, like if you wanted to play the guitar, if you get a real crappy guitar that's hard to play, you're not going to want to play it. If you get like the cheapest, chintziest 3D printer in the world, you're not going to stick with the hobby or the field at all. But if you get something that's decent quality and reliable, you're much more likely to stick with it, and you want to stick with 3D printing. I kind of promise you that. Let's move this guy up here. Okay, so Nico, you ordered half a kg of PLA as your first roll. Yeah, that's more than enough. This printer did not come with any filament. Usually, I guess I don't have any here. Usually they come with a tiny little bit of filament, which isn't even enough to print like the butt of the cat, but it's enough to just run through and see if everything's heating up and working. So as long as you ordered something, you should be good to go. Stick with PLA first to kind of get it down before you move on to ABS. And there's all kinds of different options. Let's see what I can find here. I've been really loving Hatchbox filament. Is great. It prints reliably. The AIO Robotics filament, which is what I'm using here, I've had really good luck with. There was one I had terrible luck with. I forget what it was called. I guess I don't have any more of it because it was so bad. But there was one, it was like great prices. The company was super cool. The packaging was super cool. The support was really great. The filament sucked. And totally just gave me the worst quality prints no matter what, even on the Prusa. But if we're talking about filaments, these are my two favorite specialty filaments. So as the cat's wrapping up here, don't want to let the cat out of the bag too early. Let me show you a little bit about these. This is the one I mentioned earlier. This is Hatchbox wood filament. And so this is plastic, but it actually has bits of real wood in it. It just snapped because it had been through here for so long and it got cold in the garage. I'm doing a terrible thing by just leaving them out open in the garage, not sealed up or anything. I shouldn't do that, but this is really cool, and you can actually print with wood. It's like magic. And then if you sand it down or finish it, it actually smells like wood. You can paint it, sand it, whatever you want. And the other one that I've been really loving and using this for almost everything lately is this 3D Solutech filament, which I just got on Amazon. It's a super cool translucent blue. I don't have anything in here that was printed with this, but I've printed a lot of things. Everything comes out really smooth and it looks really cool. This has been my favorite filament. I didn't want to use it as a first filament on here though, because it is a little different and weird, and I wanted to use a simple, basic, standard PLA, which sounds like what you ordered. So that way you see what the printer can do under optimal conditions, and then you can go in and start changing the variables to adjust it. But what Monoprice does, I think they're moving in towards customizing their printers a little more now. For the most part, their printers are clones. They usually find like an overseas manufacturer that makes a decent printer, and then they just rebadge it as a Monoprice printer. The cat is done. So there we go. That was not too shabby. That was 1 hour and 15 minutes. This one took 2 hours and something minutes earlier. So there we go. There is the finished cat. He looks pretty darn good. Let's see if I can kind of like spin this around at all to show you the other sides. There's no camera trickery here. This is just straight up out of the box. We did this print. And that's what came out. A little bit of string heading up there. And then the printer set itself. It moved the extruder up really tall, really high. Let me adjust my autofocus here. Boom. Sorry. I was having trouble with focus just because the way the extruder was moving to and towards in a way the camera was throwing off the focus, but this should be pretty good now. So let's switch back. Let me put this on a tripod for you guys. I'm sorry you're seeing it kind of just spin around like crazy in the corner, but whatever. It's Sunday night. We can go crazy. Whoa. There we go. I should have probably been a little smoother with that, but you know, it's a live stream. The whole point is going live. There we go. And then so the way you remove prints is you can use a tool. Oh wow. This bed is like movable. This is the tool that they gave me with the printer. where you're supposed to pop it under here, but you can kind of see that doesn't really work. I did notice this actually printed with a raft, which is a little platform under it, and that's cool because that helps level it out a little bit. So I'm just going to grab and see if I can pop it off. There we go. So there's the finished cat print. So if you get this printer and there's only one thing on it that is called auto00.g, this is what it is. It's the cat print, which came out fantastic. It's a little smaller. I don't know why I had printed the other one bigger for some reason, but there's kind of some detail there. It's not too bad at all. I am quite pleased with the quality of this. There you go, Andy. There's the finish right there. Thanks, Andy. If you gotta go, no problem. I'm about to wrap up, and I got the whole explosive ending happening there. Yeah, so there's the cats. It came out pretty great. I am, based on this experience, I'm definitely ready to use this printer, and I definitely enjoy this printer. Yeah, so that's that. What you can do now, if you have a print like this that has a raft on it, which when you slice your prints, you can decide if you want to have a raft or not. When it prints, all you have to do actually is just pop it off, and it very easily detaches. And then you have your cat finger puppet. Nice. Man, this came out great. It did have the little hangy part right there, but you can just take these clippers and kind of clip that off. That's no big deal, and then it becomes quite clean. So I am impressed. I was so nervous this thing was just going to burst into flames or do something totally insane, and it didn't. So good job, little printer. I am happy with that. And so there we go. That's my live stream for this week. I've been trying to do these Sunday live streams every Sunday, usually around 7 o'clock. Today I did 6 because I figured this would be a longer one. If certain times work better for you guys, definitely let me know so that way I can adjust accordingly. But yeah, they're really fun. I've been trying to update Instagram and Twitter and stuff with things that are happening on the channel, and I posted that I was going to do this live stream earlier today, and I think that might have helped. So I will definitely do that, especially if times changes. So I'm at So Darn Tom on basically all the things except YouTube and Facebook. YouTube and Facebook are both the Enthusiasm Project. Twitter and Instagram are So Darn Tom, and that's where I kind of like keep you updated if I'm doing streams. If you didn't subscribe, please definitely do subscribe. Hit the bell so that way you get notified of streams. Make sure to smash or delicately click or tap on that like button so that way, you know, people know you like this video, or dislike it. If you hate it, that's fine too. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments if you're watching this later. But the best part of live streams are when people can tune in and actually communicate live. That's the whole point of doing them. So I'm glad you guys were able to watch. Nico, I'm glad you got to see this, especially since your printer's on the way. Please let me know, maybe even come back to this video and just leave a comment on how your printer did. I will do a more full review and test and run through of this printer. I'm going to slice some models using Simplify 3D and Cura later, so we'll see how those come out, how those work. I think, though, I do say, we are probably at a point. Not that I want to jinx it, you guys, because I totally don't want to jinx it. But I think we're at a point where I would like you to be with me as I remove, ceremoniously, the protective plastic from the screen. I have no music. This was not as satisfying as I hoped. There we go. Screen looks a lot better without that on it, though. So I learned this is not a touch screen, And if you're getting this printer, Nico, this might actually be helpful for you. These are the navigation buttons. The middle one is select, and the top and bottom ones kind of navigate like a dial left and right around the printer. So it was super frustrating to me to try to figure out how to... You could watch the video and see. So anyway, as I'm wrapping up here, I took Heather's advice and put a goal. So I do these live streams every Sunday night. The very first time I did a live stream, like I mentioned, I was so excited because that was when I had hit 50 subscribers, and I did this dope graffiti on my boosted board box and inhaled a lot of spray paint. And then trying very hard to not only build a channel, but to build like a genuine audience. We're at 152 right now. Lost one, gained one back during the live stream. So let's go, next goal. Hopefully very shortly we can do a Sunday Funday live stream where I'm celebrating 200. We're into the 200s, just because that would be really fun. So I don't know who we're sacrificing this to, or we're just putting the universe into the energy into the universe. I saw Coco last night and cried really hard, so here we go. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to let me know what you think. Subscribe, smash like buttons, ring bells, etc. Go to, when this is done, facebook.com/HeatherJustCreate. Check out her stuff. Check out Zero to YouTube Hero. All the other things we talked about. This printer, super rad. 200. Okay. Good night, you guys. I hope you have a great week. I will see you. I'll see you.